What's up, y'all? Get some OTT on there. I think we're all familiar with the motto of this channel, which is OTT or no TT. And I think the answer is OTT. Just add such a nice texture on there. Also, what's up, y'all? Alright, what do we got next? Dude, GG, what's up, man? How's it going, bro? What's cracking? What else we got? Dude, it's a good question. It is starting to heat up, that's for sure. Yeah, I think yesterday it was like 88 or 90 or something, so we're starting to get up there. Yeah, it's about to get intense. Once actual summer kicks in, we're going to be looking at probably triple digits many days, which is not great. But yeah, it's not too bad, but definitely getting warm. Yeah, when the Bay Area is 80, that's when you know everywhere else is like screwed. Dude, heck yeah. Yeah, it's been a little toasty, but not too bad. Definitely in for worse as the months continue, though. Summer's nice, though. So it's nice to have the sun out. Here's the thing: is I would rather be too hot than too cold. That's just how I'm wired, I guess. female vocalist sample though. I don't know where I found that, but I want more, is all I'm saying. Oh, dang, I missed your question. Is that droney synth sound from the M8 or is that a sample in the last beat? I would say it's probably a sample. I actually very rarely use the internal synth engines on the M8, so chances are it's a sample. In fact, really the only thing that I use the synths for sometimes, very rarely, is as like a bass. Sometimes you can do like the sine wave or something just to like kind of do a very simple sub bass. But yeah, I really don't do any sound design on the M8. I just use samples. Whoa, what the heck? Dude, what happened to this? Did I mute it on accident? Wow, that's weird. Okay, well, I was done with that beat. All right, let's listen to one more, and then let's get started here. What do we got here? Yeah, triple triangle's fat, triple sine is fat. Or you can always do like triple square or saw or whatever, put like a filter on it. I don't know if they have triple square, but they probably do have saw. Speaking of, triple sine wave right here. So I do use it occasionally. Yo, Freedom 9845, what's up, dude? What's cracking? How's it going? Alright, this is a nice little chill one. Yeah, I've got like a million of these. I don't even know. I've got a folder called Need to Sort. It's like, what is that all about? Alright, let's listen to one more. What's this one? This is beat 12. Oh, it's only one row? What's that all about? Doing some nice like pitch bend type stuff here. Dude, PSL, pitch slide. I'm into that. It kind of makes that like sort of rises up. Use pitch slide more. Sounds cool. Oh, dude, that's what's up. The Koala M8 setup. Yeah, it's nice. It's a fun way to kind of have a tactile experience with M8. Since normally you're not really able to kind of dial stuff in. You can use Koala to do that. Or you can do effects too. So it has many uses. All with one cable. So that's what's up. Alright, that beat's dope. A little loopy. Maybe I gotta switch it up a little bit. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So what's up, y'all? Welcome. And today we're going to be using Dirtywave M8 on the lonesome. I don't have any other companions for it out, so we'll just be making beats in the box, so to speak. No fancy tricks. I don't even know what sample I'm going to use either, so maybe I need to look for that first. That's generally how I start making beats, is I try to find the melodic sample and then I start plugging in the rhythm and stuff. Let's see, maybe there's some stuff left from the crate dig session that I haven't used yet, so I can check that out. These full band samples, these things were going hard. I've used probably like 4 of them at this point, maybe. Dude, Reason Beat, what's up, bro? Dude, Freedom says, yeah, taught me a lot about the DL command. Oh, dude, DL's dope. They got a new one too. It's called MTT. I don't know if you heard of that, but it's like DL, but like even more precise. So there's ticks and there's sub-ticks, if you know what I'm saying. And the MTT lets you use the sub-ticks. It's like every tick is like, every sub-tick is, there's 8 of them per tick. Sounds complicated. Once we get to the drum section, I can show you though. Okay, what do we got here? About to get the copyright strike. I'm not even tripping though. Dude, that's a sick sample. That's the dramatics. Miss Jones. Get down on this. This sounds pretty dope. Female vocalist, that sort of thing. All right, let's get chopping. So on M8, the way that you can slice, there's many ways actually. There are these slice commands in the sample editor screen where you could do like, you know, auto chop 16 or what have you. But we don't get down like that. We're going to switch it up here and use the lazy chop function. And the way to do that is basically you just hold the play button. You have to move your cursor to the slice marker setting. So right now it's on 0, 0. And if you hold play, if you tap edit on the slice marker, it'll input the slices, which is very easy to do, kind of like a sort of loose style of chopping where it's not, you know, auto spaced or whatever. It's not a perfect system, but it gets you very close, and then you can kind of dial it in from what you need. I'm going to pull this one back a little bit. Did it a little too late. This one too. My timing was off. I'm getting warmed up here. This one too, maybe? Yeah, that's kind of the tough part though on M8 is like it zooms in like very, very close when you want to edit the, do the fine edit. So you kind of have to like deal with this like microscopic view. Okay. Dude, that's a nice chop. Dude, this one too is nice. Alright, so these sound pretty dope. I'm going to overwrite. Do it. Because yeah, you have to save the file with the slice markers embedded. And then now that we've got that set up, you can go to slice 01 file, and this is going to make it so that the notes correspond to the chops. Very convenient. So it starts at C1. right, so we're gonna start with these, and this is basically how I figure out what tempo I want to work with, is I'll just put some like very simple chops down in the sequence. It doesn't sound bad at 90. Oh, but I want to change the pitch too, so let's do that. Dude, that's not bad. So now I can change the tempo. So I'm kind of just looking for like something that sort of matches the groove that I'm looking for. Whoa. Alright, so I want to switch these up actually. So this one goes here, and then this one goes here. Okay. So it's pretty simple. This is what I'm going to use to kind of like sample drums or audition drums over it, and then I'll figure out like what sounds good, and then I can come back to the chops and do something different. Dude, what's good, bro? What's up, bro? Dude, J. Orgio, 86. What's up, dude? Alright, let's keep going here. So now we want some drums. See if I can find a nice snare, maybe? And that's what's nice about this full band sample, too, is that the percussion is like very low key, so it's easy to like layer drums over it. So that's something I keep an eye out for when I'm sampling stuff, is like, is it easy to like add my own drums, or am I gonna have to like do some tricks basically to get my drums on there? Alright, what do we got? Maybe this one. I gotta turn it up though. Normalize it. Nice and beefy. Okay. And yeah, I was just messing around with the envelope there. Yeah, set the destination to volume, and then you can really tighten up the release to sort of control how long it like sort of gates out or fades out. Because yeah, without the envelope, it kind of like rings out a little too long. Makes it much more snappy. I'm into that. All right, what else we got? Kick drum. Dude, Gatherthird, what's up, bro? Nice and simple. Alright, so just putting together the kit here. I think we got the kick sounding pretty chill. Again, did the envelope stuff, but also the EQ can make a huge difference. You can see this is like the standard curve for my kick drums. It's just always like super boosted on the bass, and then bring the mids down. And then you can kind of control sort of the high end, how much passes through the filter, I guess you would describe it as, by just adjusting this like high cut value. So not too bad. Alright, hi-hat is up next. Dude, my bucket list. What's up, bro? Oh yeah, I don't even look at the buttons because I have like the display, like what you can see on the left. I have that like up on my screen as well. So I'm kind of like making eye contact with it. I know where my hands are. I'm feeling around. I'm feeling it. All right. What else we got? Whoops. That's not bad. Yo, dude, you put that envelope on there, it sounds totally different. It's got like more of like a kind of dynamic rhythm and sound. Alright, and then of course I had to put the sauce on it by adding the degrade 02. Yeah, as long as you keep adding this, it basically makes it sound more lo-fi, which is pretty nice for hi-hats because you can kind of like, I don't know, if the high end is a little too bright, you can sort of like soften it up, I guess. Okay, earlier we were talking about the MTT command, so let's go over that. That was freedom that I mentioned it to. So yeah, the way MTT works is basically the smallest note, or not note, the smallest unit of measure for like the sequence is called a tick. And basically there are a certain number of ticks per step. So by default, between each of these steps, so like this note plays, and then it takes 6 ticks to get to the next step, and then it takes 6 ticks to get to the next step, etc., etc. But yeah, basically what delay lets you do, the delay command, DEL, this lets you offset a sound or an effect by a certain number of ticks. And there's 6 ticks per step, right? So you could have it come in, 1 tick late or 2 ticks late. But it's pretty coarse division. Like 6 ticks per step means that there's like each delay command corresponds to like maybe like 15 or 18% delayed. And then the next one would be like 36 and then 48 or 50 basically. But if you use the MTT command, that allows you to use subticks, which are basically like, or microticks, I guess is what they're called. Let me see what it actually says. So it says microtime, nudge row in microticks. They're called microticks, 1/8 of a tick. So what this does is instead of doing it by like, 18%, which is 1 out of 6, or 36%, which is 2 out of 6 or whatever. So this lets you divide even further. Each tick is divided by 8 parts. And so that gives you a lot more control and precision in terms of like offsetting the notes, which is good for like swing or, kind of like offsetting notes for microtiming purposes. But you can also use it with effects as well. So it's very helpful for kind of getting that off the grid sound for like drums and stuff. My bucket list says, does the M8 have any way to add effects like reverb and flanger? Yeah, dude, you totally can. I'll show you an example. So yeah, you can add effects like that per instrument or sound basically. So right now we're just listening to the sample chops. And then I can do reverb. And there's a flanger too, or flanger, which is called the MFX. I think by default it's chorus, but you can change it. Wow, trippy. So yeah, each instrument has a send, an effect send, where you can send it to, delay, reverb, and then the MFX, you have to pick. You can't do multiple. So you either pick if you want to do the flanger, the phaser, or the chorus. And for a long time, it was just chorus, but Trash 80 added 2 extra effects, which is the flanger and the phaser. So you get new stuff there, and you just have to select it basically. And then each sample or instrument or whatever can have it get sent to it. So you can control like the levels and stuff. You can even automate it using like, I don't even know how you do that. You'd have to do something in the sequence probably that controls the send amount. You can like, fluctuate it or whatever. Pretty advanced technology, not anything that I ever do normally, but I know it's possible. Okay. Alright, so right now I really want to focus on the percussion. Don't have to do too much of the hi-hat. I'll probably add an open hat in a little bit. Alright, let's sequence the kick drum. And this is where the MTT command comes in handy, because you can really kind of get those drums sounding off the grid. right, so we got some micro timing all over the place. Snare, you can do, I tend to put like very low values just to kind of very slightly offset it. And what's cool is you can even do negative micro timing. So if you, when you have the MTT command up, it starts at 0, 0, which is no micro timing. But if you go left, it does negative, which makes it play early. But you can only do that, I think you can do that on any step of the phrase except the first one, because it can't like go backwards from the first one. But any of the others, you can kind of like pull things back or move things forward. Whereas before, you would have had to have put it on the step before and then offset it forward. But it's just kind of a quick way to kind of pull stuff back. And doing that with the snare is nice because it kind of gives it a little bit of variety. Nothing too crazy though, really small values, 0.2, FC, 0.3. So it's pretty much plus or minus 0.3 is basically what I'm doing there. All right, let's do some different sample chops before we get bored to death by this looping. Dude, my bucket list says, where do I find your music? Or ho. Hell yeah, I appreciate you asking. So yeah, I don't really have too much music out there, but I do have a Bandcamp if you want to check that out. I don't know if the link is in my YouTube description, but I'll put it in the chat so you can check it out if you want. One sec. So everything on there you can listen to, it's free, you can download it if you want to. And I have some music on YouTube as well, but it's just like videos that I've uploaded and stuff. All right. Not bad. Yo, engineer, what's up, bro? Yeah, those guitar chops are nice. So I threw in a little ply1 command, which basically plays the sample in reverse. So just to kind of vary it a little bit, this chop will like kind of ping pong like halfway through it's playing. Alright, let's try and do that open hat before I forget to do that. So yeah, I'm thinking like a nice open hi-hat would sound sick. So let's see if we can find one that matches. Maybe this one? Alright, where do I want it though? Maybe at the end? Dude, I always forget to change the note number. It's like... It sounds terrifying in pitch down that many semitones. Oh, I just realized the sample has an open hi-hat, or it's like rides or something. That might be distracting if I put my own open hat and it's already in there. Let's try it out and see what happens. Okay, so let's do hi-hat sequence, clone it, and then I want it to be right here. Sometimes I have to change the pitch of the drums so they're kind of like in tune a little bit, but this one actually sounds pretty good at C4. Okay. And then we'll have it come in not so often, once every 4 bars, I guess. Alright, so we got the basic kit, kick, hi-hat, snare. Could do like a percussion loop maybe, or I could do the bass next, more melodic stuff. Yo, okay, so my bucket list says, can the M8 slap in a MIDI file? I see a small keyboard below the 8 on the right. I actually don't know how you would load a MIDI file. I don't think you can do that. So there's M8 instruments you can load. And then the project gets saved as like a .m8s file, I think is what it's called. Yeah, so I think if you had a MIDI file, what you'd have to do probably is like play it from DAW or something and then have the MIDI get sent to this. And then from here, you'd need to like record the MIDI into the sequence, I guess. At which point it might be easier just to put in the notes on their own. But you can use a MIDI keyboard too. Like you can plug in a MIDI controller and control it via MIDI. So if you've got the chops to play something on the piano or in a MIDI controller format, you could always just record it in like that. But as far as MIDI files go, I don't know if there's a way to do that really. I think you'd have to just like play it and then record it in, which sounds kind of janky, but I guess that's the purpose of this thing is more to like create your sequence like in a very precise manner and not to like I don't know, import MIDI data, I guess, is probably the philosophy of the tracker. I don't know too much about it, but it's a lot of fun to use, basically. Dude, Jimmy Patrick, what's up, bro? Love your tutorials. I learn a lot from M8. Dude, heck yeah. Or about the M8 from you. Dude, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, thanks for saying that. And we're getting down on M8 today. Okay, let's just take a look in the percussion folder and see what's up. No pressure. No pressure at all. Some triangles? Maybe not. Maybe not the vibe. Okay. Maybe like a bongo, hand drum type situation. It's really not that bad. Alright, so we have a chill little bongo section there. I'm into that. Nice layer to the percussion. Getting a little low on tracks here, actually. Okay. Next up, let's do the bass. So the sample definitely has bass in it. There's like a bass part, but it's not very prominent in the chops that I used, so I think we could probably play our own and add some extra low end there. Alright, let's see what we got. This is kind of an interesting hit. You can kind of hear like the pluckiness of it. And then you could put a filter on it to kind of clean it up. Because yeah, really the only chop that has like a very pronounced like bass sound in it, or bass guitar sound, is this one. It's like that high note. I feel like the rest of it I can barely hear the bass. Or I can hear it in here a little bit. Anyways, okay, let's and that's kind of one decision point that I get to is like, does the sample I'm using have bass net already? And should I just amplify that? Or should I try to add my own bass? So that was kind of what I was talking through there. And the decision is, let's do our own bass. Okay, how do you do this? And so this is another kind of tricky part on M8 is like with other groove boxes, you would probably just like play in the notes live, like, you know, kind of jam along with the sample basically. But with M8, you're not really in a position to do that because there's a way to live input notes, but you have to have an external controller to do it, which as you can see, I do not have plugged in right now. So you kind of just have to put notes in the sequence and see what sticks. Pitch pretty low now, it's kind of hard to hear it. This pitch sounds pretty good. Could be the root note, could not be. I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know much about music theory, but it sounds pretty okay. Oh yeah, Barista Beats says M8 does not natively support MIDI files. You need to use custom tools. Yep. Yeah, that's how it works. Dude, Garmagnite, what's up, bro? Kind of a little wasabi action here. It's that different kind of spice. Okay, yeah, so making the bass line. So basically I try to put the notes down in the sequence, find an okay pitch, and then from here is where I'll start like tweaking and like kind of doing lower notes and higher notes. And it's all kind of trial and error, which I feel like is the nature of this device, and maybe most groove boxes to a certain extent. Okay. Alright, so there, just adjusting the envelope a little bit to make the notes kind of close out quicker. You can get a different vibe if you have like the notes a little bit shorter, so I like to mess around with that just to see if there's like any different sort of sound. You can even control the release like per note too if you wanted some notes to be longer, some to be shorter. I think it sounds fine like this though. So yeah, the bass line sounded pretty chill. And then my bucket list says, can you place a bass note on 6 and lower its velocity so it plays just before the first note on 8? Yeah man, I can try that. Okay, so put it on 6 and lower its velocity. Alright. I'll have to do the micro timing on it. Dude, heck yeah. It's kind of like a ghost note almost. Alright, dude. That's what's up. Thanks for recommending that. Sounds sick. Okay. Then Garmagni says, bust out the Phantasmal Force M8 combo lately. Dude, I have not. That's definitely one way to get that kind of tactile experience, is to use that thing. But I haven't done that lately. Yeah, the Phantasmal Force is kind of tricky because you need to have like an external power source for it. Dude, I wish they would have put like a battery in it. That would have been pretty dope. But yeah, I haven't done that lately. But yeah, that thing's sick. Definitely very flexible, versatile, super duper tiny controller. In fact, for those that don't know what it is, let me pull it out. Yeah, this is what Garmagni is talking about. This is the Phantasmal Force. And you're like, whoa, dude, what is this little tiny device? Kind of looks like a little calculator, or sort of like the pocket operators, but even smaller. But yeah, basically each of these buttons can send a MIDI note, and you can control like which notes get sent. And yeah, you can see it's like smaller than the M8, so it's like super duper tiny. And yeah, it's got USB-C port on the top, which it needs power through, but you can also send MIDI over USB-C. And then it has a TRS cable too, so you can send MIDI, so you can send MIDI over TRS as well. I forget if it's Type A or Type B. Then you got the little feet on the back. So yeah, this thing's pretty dope. But again, you have to use the USB to power it, which the M8 won't do for some reason. I think it's like a limitation with M8. So I'm not speaking ill of M8, nor am I speaking ill of the Phantasmal Force, because this thing's tight. Just requires a unique setup, I would say. But it's fun. And you can even, oh, I forgot to mention too, this knob. You can use this to like control, you can send like CC values, like 0 through 127 to kind of do like, you know, filter sweeps or whatever. You can have that send out like a MIDI CC. Very versatile. But yeah, I haven't messed around with it too much lately. Alright, what else do we want to add here? Maybe like a horn? I don't know, maybe this with a filter on it would sound kind of cool. Dude, that sounds kind of dope, actually. What is Bandstop even doing? Low pass teams at the best. Gotta find the right note for this. I don't know if I want it to climb up or climb down. Dude, up sounds tight. That might be it. Yeah, it's all coming together. All right, we got one more track. So we got the horn. And the way I like to think about it is like, okay, think about the sample, the instruments that are in that sample, and try to find something that's like maybe outside of that to like add and kind of contribute to the sound of it. So the sample does have, or I guess let's listen. So it's got a guitar, you got the vocalist. There's not really much else. There's like strings at the end a little bit. Like in the last chop that I used. So I could add strings to kind of have it go through the entire arrangement and not just appear at the ends. Or maybe something else. Maybe like Rhodes or something. Just make sure I got all this stuff right. Dreamy. Okay. And then I gotta 16-bit it. Think about the timing of it though. When do I want it to come in? Whoops, I was editing the pitch of both. Alright, C4 sounds nice for the first one. The second one, I want to do something different. Gotta find the right pitch. Sounds pretty sick. And then my bucket list says, looks like Arduino with a screen and buttons on the top. Very well could be. You can see the PCB through like the 3D printed enclosure. I don't know exactly what's in there though. I haven't tried opening it up yet. Maybe I'll do that someday. And then my bucket list says, where do you find these samples? I once watched a video where he talked about open source game music, but not samples. Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like I get this question occasionally, and I kind of get samples from all over the place, although there are some content creators that I do subscribe to get their samples, like for instance Marlo Diggs, who does like MPC videos and stuff. He's got like a pretty cool studio where he like plays, you know, various keyboards and shares samples and stuff. So yeah, Marlo Diggs is pretty cool. I get samples from his sample pack. He has a Patreon where he like gives out a whole pack like every month or whatever. But most of the stuff that you hear is just stuff that I've recorded from like records and like other stuff. I have like a million records, so I've recorded a bunch of sounds from those. And yeah, I get sounds from all over the place. Video games, you know, media, whatever. Cassette tapes, just basically whatever I can find in my area. So yeah, man, samples are all around you. You don't even know. But I kind of get them from various places. And then my bucket list says, I think maybe try to follow the guitar sound with one note starting higher and then going lower. The next step. You could Try that out, dude. Let's see. Try to follow the guitar sound. So the guitar is like whap, whap. Alright, so start higher, then go lower. Roger. Let me see if I can mess with the start point here. Maybe I gotta add some attack to it. I don't know. Oh yeah, the BC combo, yep. Yeah, sounds pretty chill. That Cage Insider website, dude, that thing's crazy. There's like so many different games and sounds on there. You could spend all day just listening to different stuff. And they got the like random song, random album stuff. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, now I want to bring in the layers like one at a time. So let's do that. Like that, maybe. So no horn, no Rhodes. Maybe I'll bring in the Rhodes first. Yeah, so I was trying to create like a fade out of this horn sample, but it kind of just like gets deleted. Maybe the sample just ends and that's how the way it cuts off. Yeah, that's not great. Oh well. As well. This is so too much, and I love it. Does something really crazy with like the high-end percussion in the sample. Kind of like gates it in a weird way. Alright, this was pretty dope. Let's hit that save button before we forget. Today's the 23rd. Need to finish. My bucket list, yeah, man. This thing has a touchscreen. Although, when you use it, it does get a little smudgy, but that's no problem. But yeah, you can basically control MIDI parameters, or not MIDI parameters, you can control parameters in the M8 by using the touchscreen as like a MIDI, MIDI controller, MIDI CC sender. So you can map any parameter to be controlled by the touchscreen. There's also some other features too with the touchscreen, like for instance, if you're editing something, I think if you hold the edit button and then you move it like left and right, it'll make it louder, or not louder, it'll make it higher or lower. Like you see the dry volume. So I had it at D0, I think, and then hold edit, move it left. I don't know, you're probably better served just like actually adjusting the values, but the touchscreen can be a nice kind of like coarse edit, sort of quickly. You can do stuff like that with the sample edit screen too, like move slice markers and stuff. It has some utility, but I wouldn't consider it to be like a main selling point, but definitely a handy feature, especially for doing that kind of live, you know, filter sweep type stuff. Speaking of, oh yeah, and then you asked, can the M8 mix and master natively, or do you export and do the mixing and mastering in a separate DAW? I mean, it's kind of up to you. It depends on your process. There are certainly mixing tools. Like you can see right now, I'm on this page that allows me to adjust the levels of each of the tracks. There's only 8 tracks, 8 stereo tracks. And you can use this as kind of a mixing tool in a sense of like, yeah, I want to take the bass track and like bring it down, or the drums, bring them up or whatever. So yeah, there's a lot you can do in the box, but it does also have a render option where you can render the stems of each of the tracks so that you can just bounce it to DAW basically, and then do your DAW stuff from there, which is probably, I don't know, I guess it depends on the kind of music you make. There's definitely a lot you can do just on the M8, but I guess if you have some like complex mixing and mastering tools that you use, or techniques or whatever, you probably just want to bounce the stems and then deal with it in DAW. But yeah, definitely a lot you can do just by adjusting levels in the box and using like the OTT compressor, which is a nice kind of like master effect. So yeah, it sounds great, just even without doing the exporting the stems and having to fiddle with it too much. All right, so that beat turned out sick. Let's do another one. What else we got? I gotta find another sample, so let's try that. I don't know, I was in that Marlo Diggs folder. Maybe I'll try something from here. There's always some cool stuff in the Rhodes folder. Some like mysterious chords and notes and stuff. Dude, that sounds really sick. Smooth. Dude, I like that. All right. forgot I have to do the 16-bit. That's one of the limitations of the M8 is that you can't play samples at a higher pitch if they're like 24-bit or higher. You have to use the 16-bit command to bring it down, and all the samples in here are generally 24-bit. Okay, so you do 16-bit, overwrite, do it, I say. I think I'll adjust the start point while I'm in here too. So a little bit of space at the beginning. Crop it, overwrite it. There we go. Whoops. Nice, we got a basic melody. Let's get some drums in there. Something like that. Alright. Could do slice drum break. Or I could do one shots. Let's do slice drum break. So it's at 92, I think. It has a nice percussion in it, and I could probably add my own snare, like layer another snare on top of it to kind of like beef up the snare section. So what I was doing there is I played it in just like a 1-bar loop, and then I was adjusting the pitch using the detune parameter, trying to find where it like does kind of a perfect loop so that I can have like the right length of it to chop. All right, so slice markers. Could lazy chop it, or I could do the auto chop. Let's see what auto does. Maybe it's a good place to start. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16. It's not bad at all. Okay, I think we're okay with that. Sometimes the auto chop does the thing, and you don't need to work too hard. Okay, and then I have to do slice 0, 1 file. Okay, I can use the EQ to... I was trying to increase the low end with the high pass filter. This is much easier though. So we got the high end just a little bit low. Sounded pretty chill. Definitely need that snare though. Degrade maybe? Degrade 02, that's the magic number. Alright, let's do snare drum. Not bad. I gotta make it louder though. Alright, so we got a nice vibe here. And then D Carmike 00 says, what does lazy chop mean? So that's a good question. So basically, the lazy chop is a way to add slice markers where you're doing like kind of a real-time input of the slice markers as the sample plays. So I'll show you an example. Let's just load up a sample. Any old sample will do. Probably something from here. All right, so something like this, for instance. So the lazy chop would be me kind of like tapping a button to put the slice markers in. I guess like real-time slicing is maybe a more appropriate term. Slice markers that I've kind of dialed in like as I've heard it. And yeah, the reason why this is different than the auto chop is that you're kind of like choosing where the slice markers go. With a sample like this, like the rhythm section is like pretty apparent, so you can kind of just have your slices follow that. But it's quite useful for samples where there's not as strong of a rhythm section, where it's not like a kick and snare pattern. You kind of have a lot more freedom to sort of put the slices where you want them to emphasize certain sounds. So that's what Lazy Chop is. It's basically putting the slice markers in real time. Okay, so where were we exactly? So I definitely want to give these kick drums a bass boost. I could sequence one shots on top of it, kind of like what I did with the snare, but I'm going to try something else here. A tricky trick, so to speak. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate the sequence. So we've got 20 here and 21. So I'm going to do 22 and 23. And then I'm also going to duplicate the instrument. So right now this instrument is a slice drum break. So copy that, paste it, and now it's instrument 03. And then from here, I'm going to change the instrument to 03. All right, and now what I'm going to do is put a low pass filter on it and really crank up the low end. And I think that'll give me the sort of amplified kick drum sound that I'm looking for. Or maybe not. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me do this. So that's getting me a nice boost to that audible frequency range where the kick is. And just to show you an example, here's what it sounds like with and without. So let's do 0 zeros here. All right, so first is with, second is without. It just gets kind of wonky. Okay, so hopefully you can hear that. All right, let's do more. So we get the rhythm section sounding kind of chill. Could definitely do more melodics. Bass. Boom, 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 something like that. All right, I could do it with my mouth, but can I put it on the phrase is really the question. Maybe like this. Bum, bum, basically it. But I definitely have to make changes to the sound and stuff. But that's the basic sequence. So yeah, vocalizations can be very helpful when you're working with a on-the-grid style sequencer like this. If you can do it with your mouth, there's a way to do it on the phrase. It's basically the long and short of that. Definitely need to do the micro timing. Yeah, that's all with one note, and then now I can kind of start thinking about different pitches, having the bass climb, go down, etc. Oh yeah, my bucket list says, how much storage does M8 have, or are you guys using external solution? Dude, I got some great news for you. My bucket list, bro, we got the SD card. I know you see it. Boom, peeking its little head out. So yeah, there's a SD card, and you can have pretty big. I don't know if there's a limit on it, to be honest with you. I feel like people have put in like multiple terabyte SD cards. I mean, as big as they make them, basically. There are special cards that you want to use, though. Like there's some specification of the card that's like helpful for the M8. I think it's called random read or something. So there are special cards to use. I think the Kingston Canvas Go is like the default one that they send with the M8. So whatever you get with the M8 is basically what you want to use. But they make those in all different sizes. So you could definitely have like big storage options if you want to put your whole sample library in there, or you could limit it if you want to, because having too many samples can be a little tricky as well, because you don't know where to go. But yeah, definitely have options, and there's all different sizes. And then my bucket list says, I'm currently listening on my phone, and it seems like turning the sample down to 16-bit killed some of the highs. Will you be reverting them back for pitching them later? I don't know. That's a good question. It's a destructive operation, making it 16-bit, so there's no going back. So I guess to answer your question, no, I don't plan on changing it back. Dang, I didn't know it deleted some of the highs. I mean, it is a Rhodes sample, so it's not really like... I feel like what I want is the low end and that kind of sort of low mid-range. The high end isn't as interesting to me. It's not too bad. But yeah, definitely if you want to keep the 24-bit version, you should save as and not just overwrite like I do. Like the mad lad I am. maybe like this, 50, 51, 52. Little group. Dude, you know we gotta add more melodics though. What kind of flutes do we got? Nope. Dude, this is just too wild, but I gotta try it. Cause you know me. Okay, what do we got here? Bro, it's like an acoustic guitar and a flute. I don't know. I don't know, but I like it. Wow, that sounded kind of sick. I don't even remember what pitch that was. G4, I think. Alright, before we go hog wild with the different pitches, let's try to get like the regular pitch sounding okay. Like, dude, how does it sound so sick? I don't know. That's the advantage of having a lot of different samples. Just throw them on. Okay, so I gotta throw in a reverse command here just to play it backwards so the guitar doesn't come in again. Part's crazy. Where does that come in? Into it. Dude, 20 on? 21? Dude, I appreciate you saying that, bro. Yeah, we're messing around. Dude, definitely some Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo vibes. Yeah, this beat does have kind of a new job is jazzy lo-fi style to it. Look at my bucket list, using the new terminology. That's what's up. Alright, so maybe I could do a filter on this thing. follow this act up with something even better. What else do we want? Piano, maybe? Nice chord. There's a lot of them actually. Okay. Maybe I should chop this actually. Dude, maybe I should lazy chop it. Let's do that. Okay, I probably messed up more than a few of those, so let's listen. This one I could bring closer. I did okay. This one very loud. This one I definitely messed up. There we go. Alright, and then I need to do a couple more here. Bring it back a little bit. Override it. Okay, so we got the piano. What am I trying to do here? I have to do slice 01 file. And I feel like I did want this just on the one. So there's a lot more piano chords and notes in here. Let me see if I can pepper something else in. definitely from the flute sample. It's just like a vinyl record noise because I sampled it from a record. Take a listen. You hear that like kind of crackly. It's like, dude, what song is that? What record? I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. It's one of the million samples I have. It's a nice texture though, so good ear, being able to spot it. Dude, Carmagna says, shout out No Mac. Dude, that's what's up. Yeah, that piano sounds sick. Track. Dude, I don't know. It's sounding kind of complex now. What could we add? We have the Rose does not come in first? Okay, let's do, I have to bring in one layer first. Maybe the piano, it's kind of like chill and low key. That might be a good place to start. So this is like none of the extra instrumentation, just the Rhodes and the bass. And then we got the piano next. Definitely needs to play for more times. That should be good. In fact, I could bring in the strings a little later too. Dude, vocal samples would be sick. I don't really have a lot of those though. Female vocalist. Something nice and jazzy. Yeah, it cuts off kind of abruptly. Maybe I could try doing that fade out thing again. Okay. That's a lot better. Okay. OTT. Oh yeah. Dude, it sounds schmacked. that's the fun of using samples, kind of like one-shot type samples instead of a full band sample. Because yeah, I feel like with a full band sample, sometimes you take the cut, you chop it up, and then once you got the drums, you're kind of done, because there's like, it's hard to find space to, you know, add more layers and stuff. Whereas with a sample like this, it's like the Rhodes were like very basic. It was just like the melodic part really. And then I was able to kind of fit a lot of different pieces on top of it or in between or whatever. And I find that kind of like freedom to be able to add whatever you want, it's like a lot more interesting to me than using like a full band sample where it's just like, you know, the whole band's doing their thing and then you're kind of just putting the drums on top. So yeah, definitely encourage y'all, if you're mostly just using like, yeah, those samples that have a lot of sounds already in them, to try piecing things together kind of one at a time. It's a lot of fun to like create your own sort of arrangement basically. And yeah, it came together pretty sick. Dude, this flute is like so wild. Yo, D0 Beats, what's up, bro? Welcome. How's it going? Touch. Okay. Yeah, this one's dope. Okay. Let's try listening to the other one. So that was the second one. What was the first one? I forgot to put a dash in the name. Whoops. Okay. First one was this one. So that was the first one. Then the second one. Coming up soon. A little more up-tempo. Number 2, probably my favorite, but they're both pretty dope in their own way. But yeah, this one came together really nice. All right. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. All right, let me check up on the chat here. Give some shout outs before we close it out. Dude, who tuned in today? We got GG Blaps, dude, Freedom, 9845, Recent Beat, Jay Orgio, dude, what's good, bruv? Gat Earthrid, my bucket list, dude, my bucket list blowing up the chat with all the sick questions and comments. Dude, keep those questions coming, bro. I like answering them. I'll help you out when it comes to questions about the M8. I can at least get you started. Dude, Brad B. Who else we got out here? Engineer, Jimmy Patrick, 1441. Dude, Barista Beats, shout out to you. Dude, Gar Magni, of course. Can't remember if I said Gat Earthrid, but he was in here earlier. And maybe still out there. Dude, D Carmichael, 21. And then, of course, D0 Beats. Dude, appreciate all y'all tuning in. Hope to catch you on the next one. But until then, peace.